Seeing Stuffers. It's your girl Faye. I'm an author, entrepreneur, TV host, and intuitive transitional coach for my company, ISN. And we have a very special guest with me today.
Hello.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Kiara Collins, and I am a faith coach.
Yes, ma'am. And you are watching Progressing on Purpose with Afrovibes TV. Yes, and I hope y'all having a great week, and I hope y'all having a happy new year as well. And if y'all have any good ideas for 2025 or have a vision for 2025, make sure y'all go in it with a clear head and tackle everything for 2025, because I feel like it's just something about 2025 that I feel like
it's going to be a beautiful year.
It's going to be a beautiful year. Sometimes they say, oh, let me not speak too soon about, oh, this is my year, but I really, truly feel like this is your year, our year. Like, if you know, like, you
and you have to speak it too.
Yes,
honestly,
exactly.
like that's like a limitative mindset to say, oh, I don't want to jinx it, and I no. If God has it for you, it will be for you.
Okay,
no matter if you speak it or not.
Yes.
So this is gonna be your year for sure.
Say it, speak it, believe it, baby, because it's gonna happen. Okay, but we're gonna go ahead and get into this month's seeing topic. So each month we have a seeing topic that you guys can discuss, and that I'll also discuss with our guests. So this month's seeing topic is overcoming doubt. So where you'll see that come up in this episode, where I asked our guest here today, how does she overcome doubt? Okay, and for the audience here, y'all go ahead and submit your written submissions via email at submissions.pop@gmail.com. Submit your stories, your testimonies, any questions, advice that you have about you overcoming doubt, or maybe doubt overcoming you. Okay, maybe you haven't overcome the doubt.
That's a big one.
Yeah, so let us know, because people need to hear it. We need to hear your stories. Share it, submit your written submissions, and you may hear your submission live on show. Okay, all right, y'all, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for allowing me to have you. for real, like, yeah, I met her on Threads, and she just had such good energy, and Threads really been a life changer for me. I met so many great people. Oh my gosh,
I didn't even know about Threads. If I'm being honest, like I was like kind of peeping, because I was transitioning into like entrepreneur space, and I was peeping this one woman's page, and I loved it because it inspired me how she kind of put everything together. And then I saw this like sign, and I was like, whatever that is, I don't need that on my page. And I clicked it, and it was like create a Threads. I was like, what is this? I signed up for it, and all I saw was like God, Christ. Like it was just like a Christ community. It was so beautiful. So.
Yes, I remember. I don't know when Threads first came out. I think it's probably about 2 years ago or something. But I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, because everybody started creating threads, like everybody started making threads. I was like, I'm not gonna cause I'm not the type to jump on a wave, like I just wait for other people to try.
But you got to. Exactly. And on the fan, that's when you want to eat your food.
Exactly. You had it back then, like
then you would have skyrocketed.
But time, it better late than never. But hey, when I did it, like when I signed up for Threads, like, because I remember seeing it one time, people was like, oh my God, download Threads, like I made so many connections. I was okay, that was the first time. And then it was like I seen it another time, and I was like, okay, I seen it that third time, and I was like, yeah, like I definitely need. Yes, I was like, let me go ahead and do it. I did it. And that's how I met this beautiful young lady right here too.
Let me tell you, you did not miss anything, okay? Because God has like an appointed time for you. So anything for you will always be for you. And so if you would have done it like all those years ago, we probably wouldn't have.
I don't think I was even ready at that time.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready at that time.
It works sometimes. Like,
exactly.
So don't ever think you're like late or missing anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the appointed time, like God's appointed time, like our timing versus God's timing? Can I just get your take on that?
Yeah. So Honestly, like I know we were talking prior to all of this, we were talking about seed time and like harvest time.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we have to understand that God plants a vision, God plants a desire within our hearts, and we seed it, which means we may create the threads, we may create the website, we may create, the Instagram, and God is like, okay, now I need you to water this.
Exactly.
And it's not the appointed time yet. It is not your harvest time yet, but soon it will be. But you have to be able to water it first. Like I know we talked about, like, you take me through the process, because I know we talked about the seeding process. You have to, I know a seed, for one, has to like crack its coat open in order for it to begin to blossom.
Plant it in the right environment, plant it in the right space. It has to have the right lighting, the right amount of water, nutrients, all type of stuff. Like all that matters. And I talk about, because we was talking about this before we were recording, because I wrote my book, A Blooming You, when it was talking about the seed, the process that flowers go through, blooming, and how that relates to humans, us blooming on this journey. So, we get the picture and we see like, okay, God's like, okay, we see this, like all the vision he has for us. But when we take that step, it is like,
but the process doesn't look like the vision.
Exactly.
And a lot of the times I feel like we get stuck in like the process of things, because now we're like, okay, God, this actually doesn't look like what I prayed for. This actually doesn't look like the vision. And so therefore they count themselves out of it. And now years go by and they miss opportunities instead of just staying planted. And sometimes the process, of course, it doesn't look like the vision, but it's necessary, because when you get to that harvest season, you are going to need to have those roots. The process allows you to, the process allows you to get rooted.
Yes. And oh my God. And I was like, but it's been a process. Okay. Because I was like, if you don't have like a strong foundation, then it's going to be able to you're going to be able to get tossed to and fro. So that's why God got to really make sure that you're secure in your foundation. You got to go through the difficult times. You got to go through the ups and the downs. Because people think when you go with God, like, oh, it's just going to be all flowers and all good.
It's a lie. Okay. And I wish somebody would have told me that.
I wish somebody would have told me.
It's like, I heard this like once. It's like it's like brutiful, right? Like it's brutal, but it's a beautiful process, because God is like, that seed that you planted, that process that it has to take to crack open its coat. That's the brutal part. The beautiful part is when God starts to crack open that coat, and you have to go through that. And for me, it was healing. Like that was a really big thing. I had to, in order to become the woman, the faith coach you see today, I had to go through brutal process in order to become because I wasn't able to step into who I was truly called to be, because I was literally plagued by rejection, plagued by abandonment and loss, and I could not step into the fullness of who God created me to be, because I was so focused on pleasing other people.
And that's a word right there. I'm like, I was the same way, like dealing with those same things, like dealing with people pleasing. And when you're on this journey, you really gonna have to let that stuff go, because a lot of people are not even gonna see the vision. Because like they say, it was no conference call when God gave you the vision. It was just between you and him. So
let's talk about that.
Because
a lot of the time, like, we seek people who God never even told you the vision. So why are you seeking them to help you?
Seeking their approvals.
Seeking them for provision when God didn't give them the vision. And so you have to go to the one who gave you the vision.
Exactly.
That's it. You have to go to them.
You gotta depend, because when God give you the vision, it's not your place to be like, well, how I'm gonna do this? Like, how I'm gonna make this happen? Like, you out here trying to make it happen yourself. If God gave you that vision, baby, he gonna cut the check. Okay, he gonna have to cut the check, because I know, like, what God gave me, like, it's so big, like, the vision, and, like, just with everything, like, in general, like, in the whole, and it's like, how am I gonna do this? Like, God, like, this is for you. Like, you got to make sure, like,
yeah,
you just have to be willing. Like, as long as you're willing,
that's it. Willing, surrender. But that's how you know your gift and the vision is from God. Yes. When it is too big for you to do by yourself, exactly. Because anything that we do, especially when we are in purpose, as long as we are where God wants us to be, as long as we are willing and we're into a space of surrender, that's when God can truly be able to use us, and He gets the glory from it.
Exactly. Because I know a lot on this journey. Like I was holding on, and I was like confused. I didn't really know because I was doing a lot of this. Like I said, I was isolated. I was alone. I didn't have like anybody on this journey really to guide me and let me know. So a lot of it was trial and error. Yeah. And this is my first time really having a personal relationship with God. So I didn't really like. I was just just going through. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really know how to walk that path. So it really. I want to provide this space so I can guide y'all so y'all can have that person here on earth. Yeah. So y'all can have what I didn't have so I can give that to y'all as well.
And we have to be careful about isolation because an idle mind is the devil's playground. Yeah. And so that's when we talked about the episode about doubt. Just being in a space of isolation can cause the devil to start speaking into you things that he'll start coding you with things that God never intended for you to wear. Yeah. And so it'll be anxiety, it'll be doubt. And all of those things are just rooted in depression. Like depression is the root, and then there's branches from it. There's anxiety, there's doubt, there's fear, there's insecurities. And if we get into a space where we're not with community, wise counsel, people to pour back into us, we'll start believing those things about ourselves.
Exactly. And that's so important. Definitely having somebody there to lead you, to guide you, having that mentorship. And it's important who you get it from. That's definitely important because I know I definitely went through my time of knowing just know when, if people is for a season or if they're supposed to be there like permanently. Because, sometimes God can send you people, but it's only for like a season. We can try to keep people there longer than they're supposed to be. And that can like cause things for you. And you can be like, wait, why is this going on? Because God didn't plan for that person to be there for that period.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Because you just brought me back to my mama. Because she would always say there's a reason, season. Yes. Some people come into your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. And sometimes like God says like every season is under the heavens. And sometimes you need to take your blessing and move on. Yeah. But if we don't end up changing the season or removing those people, we'll end up cursing the very blessing, and it'll become a test.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, and that happened to me. That's
happened to all of us. Because we want, our nature is to hold on to people. Like, especially if you have a big heart, you love people and you want to hold on to them. And so
that's good though, y'all. But we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, y'all. Y'all stay right here because this is some good conversation we're having with Kiera. Y'all stay locked in. This is Progressing on Purpose with Afrovibes TV.
Yeah, normally you finish, then you go talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We are backing up. I just remember. Okay.
You want me to set a timer?
Yes.
Okay.
14 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, so this will be the last tape. Okay. Welcome back, y'all. This is Progressing on Purpose with Afrovibes TV. I'm your host, Faye, and we have our guest here, Kiera.
Yes. Thank you for having me back.
Yes, ma'am. And y'all, we had a great conversation before break, during break.
I should have been there.
Okay. Okay, like I really wish somebody was recording. It was like a whole other episode. Yeah. But we definitely have to get you back on here because it's like it just flows. And I know people need these type of conversations because I feel like everybody's having conversations about stuff that really doesn't matter. But it's like in these times, especially that we're in now, I feel like it's important because I feel like the way this world is going, like a lot of people is going to need like that guidance, that spiritual guidance for them. So we want to allow you here just to share that with the audience and to give y'all this space so everybody can see that we're all going through the same things, that nobody out here should feel isolated or alone or misunderstood by people who really wasn't meant to understand you. Okay, like it's people out here who's going through the same thing and they see exactly what you're going through. So
community is so important. And I know when we took the break, we talked about this a little bit, but we talked about how being in a season of isolation is so dangerous.
Yes.
Because like the Bible says, an idle mind is the devil's playground. And so that's where doubt comes and anxiety. And the devil begins to pour into you things and allows you to wear things that God never intended for you to wear. And so we have to be able to peel back those layers. We have to be able to heal, to be able to step into purpose. And you do that with community.
Yes, exactly. That's why it's so important to have those like-minded people around you. And on the journey, you will, God will isolate you. He will separate you. And that's two different things, like isolation and separation. But that's the whole nother. We ain't even gonna get into that. But like isolation and separation, like it's like we have those seasons where God is gonna isolate you from people. But it's not meant for you just to stay like, separated. You should still have that community of people who understands what you're going through and walk in the same journey, so you can still get that guidance and we can learn from each other and be able to teach one another.
But understanding too that God will not separate you alone. Like you won't be in complete, like we have to understand the difference between like isolation and separation. Isolation is more often than not you separating yourself from people. Separation is God separating you from people, but he never leaves you in a place where you're alone. You still have a support that you can lean on, because again, he said it's not good for man to be alone. So we have to understand the difference. And so sometimes we can start telling ourselves like, oh no, God's just separating me. And it becomes an excuse to isolate. And God is like, I didn't tell you to do all that now. I still want you to have wise counsel. I still want you to have community, because that is important.
Exactly. And those separations, it can be for like a season. It can be for like a certain amount of time.
Not a lifetime.
Even if God may separate you like from this person, or he may want you to separate from like maybe your family or from like a job or anything. It can be like, it could be permanent or it could just be temporarily. Like you never know. So you want to get that counsel from God as well to know like, is this a permanent situation or is just like a right now situation? So really get that lead in and not just be out here just cutting people off and just having like
blocking.
Because
that's not a healthy pattern to have. When you start to become into a space of being emotionally avoidant and cutting people off and blocking people, that's not really healthy, because you're not truly healing in those spaces.
Exactly. So we're gonna that's kind of going to my next point with healing. I know we talked about it a little bit. I'm gonna go a little bit more into it. So I just want you to elaborate like how important it is when you're on this journey, like when you're chasing purpose, period, like when you're starting a business. Because a lot of people like to skip the step of the inner work and like healing and dealing with those inner issues. So when you're on this journey, like when you're chasing purpose, can you like really go into like how was it important for you to do the inner work, heal before you actually went into your purpose?
It was extremely important because like we talked about just kind of like after break, I suffered through rejection. And so if I got into seasons where I was wanting God to rush the process and to elevate me, if I would have elevated too soon, then I would have fallen by one bad comment. One bad comment would have sent me down like the ski slope. And so it is so important to heal. And for me, healing from rejection was really important, because then I was able to, partnering with God was able to peel back the layers that I was hiding. And I was honestly able to remove the mask. You cannot step into rooms and spaces without removing your mask. Like I heard once that the people that you are looking for will not be able to find you if you're not being authentically yourself. So if you have a mask up and you're wanting to get into business, or you're wanting to elevate in your purpose in your field, you have to remove the mask, which a lot of the times is shaped by insecurity, people pleasing, doubt, fear. And so you have to be able to heal first. And that was like one of the most important things that I had to do in my journey.
Yes, that's going right into my next point with self-identity and identity, and letting people be comfortable or bold enough to be able to step into who God called you to be. So how was that for you, like making that shift or that transition? Like was it hard? Like did you have trouble like seeing yourself through God's eyes? Was it like kind of like a tug of war?
Well, we have to remember that healing is a journey. And so it's not something that'll just happen overnight. And so for me, confronting trauma wasn't something that just happened overnight. It was literally partnering with God in a space to be able to pull back those layers. And it took a lot of time, because a lot of the times I was hiding things within myself that I didn't want to come out. I was burying myself in insecurities and people pleasing and not feeling valuable and not feeling worthy enough. And with that, I wasn't able to receive what God's word says. How can I receive you are wonderfully and beautifully made if when I look myself in the mirror, I don't believe that about myself? So you have to be able to heal first. And it happens in the secret place. It happens when you go to God naked with all of your shame, embarrassment, doubt, all of the things that you've been carrying. When you're able to release it at his feet and say, God, this is where I'm at. Become like I want to become. And so it happens in like the secret place. And so it took some time, but it is so important, because once you partner with God, then he's able to let you know who you are, and you have confidence in that. Like Jesus walked around, he was confident. He knew, look, I'm about my Father's business, and he wasn't going to adjust himself for anybody. And so when you connect with Christ and when you get on the same page with Christ, you're able to walk around confidently, like, I like her. Okay. And if you're not for me, then you just not for me.
And I'm gonna say like that definitely took some time, because I'm more in that space now, like where I'm more confident, like knowing like what I'm called to do, what like God placed inside of me. Because at first, it was so like I wasn't really confident, because you're not really too sure on your purpose. You're not really too sure which way you're going. So if people telling you, oh no, you're this, but when God's telling you you're this, and it's like you're kind of back and forth. But once you get that personal relationship, and y'all, it's when I mean personal, like me, when I first started this journey, I didn't even go to a church. Like I literally was just having that personal relationship with God, like myself, learning through him, reading the Bible, doing it all like manually. And I feel like a lot of people they go to church, but then they just rely on the church. They just rely like when they go on Sundays. They rely on the pastor. They go to the pastor for counsel. They seek from like prophets and stuff. They seek like all these other people except for like the source himself. And he's a jealous God. So when you go into like all these people besides him,
they can become your gods. And you have to recognize too, because pastors, your job, your career, friends, relationships can become your God.
Exactly.
Who you go to first is who you trust in the most. So
yes, exactly, y'all. Who you go to most is who you trust in the most, and make sure God is that number one source. Okay. Always go to him for your confidence. Anything that anybody else tells you, it should be confirmation already. It should already like tie in. It shouldn't be anything new, like, oh wait, I didn't know that. Like, no, it should be like it should click. Like, it should be some type of click. Like, God already told you this, y'all.
Yeah.
But y'all, we had a great conversation.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Yes, we're gonna have her back. Be like, we gotta have you back. We gotta have you back, y'all. Yes, we had such a great conversation. But once again, let the people know where they can follow you at.
Yeah, so I am on Instagram at I am Kiera Collins. I have a community for women called But What Does God Say? So you can find that community on that page as well. I'm also on YouTube at butwhatdoesgodsay.com.
Yes, ma'am. Make sure y'all follow her, and y'all can follow me on Instagram at B_LIN_G. That's B-Lean. That's my personal page. Or you can also follow my business page _ Your Calling is Calling, okay?
Yes.
And thank y'all again. Thank you again.
Thank y'all for listening.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in to Progressing on Purpose with Afrovibes TV. I'll catch y'all next week.